Hello, Virgos. Welcome to Souls Intersect. This is your love and relationship reading for the remainder of July and through August. My intention is to read for both singles and those of you already involved in relationships. First and foremost, I will go with what I receive intuitively, but I am setting that intention, so hopefully that's what will come through for us. If you're interested in a private reading, please email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. I'm also going to post the link to your general reading for July for Virgo, and that'll be in the description below. Okay, the first message I'm getting is in regard to those of you. Actually, this applies for both, it feels like. But it's feeling more strong for those of you in a relationship. What I'm getting is that there's a move coming up. So this is actually like a traveling, relocating type of move. And I feel like you have been digging in your heels about it, in a sense. It's not so much that you don't want to try something new, because I do feel that you have a sense of adventure and a very open mind, but there's something about your current state that you've just cultivated something there in your current space that you don't totally want to leave behind. There's comforts there for you that feel that they're difficult to walk away from. But it feels like it's kind of inevitable that you will walk away. And so the first interpretation again is that this is actually a physical move and a relocation. And I say that it is mostly for those of you in relationships, because I feel like it is a sacrifice that you're making with this hanged man coming in. So again, it wouldn't be your first choice. And it feels like it has to do with your partner. And that you inside have been digging in your heels a little bit, but on the outside, you're showing your cooperation as best as possible. And it feels like that is appreciated. So I feel like it's appreciated by your partner, but also just in the bigger spiritual sense. It's like your guidance is letting you know that your patience and your cooperation is there's support for that kind of energy there, because it doesn't feel like it's a sacrifice that is going to impact you negatively in any way. It doesn't feel like it is going to be too much of a strain on your own work or your own needs or things that you want to pursue for yourself. It actually feels like there's an opening coming up. So it feels like something about this, it's almost like a reward in a sense for a sacrifice that you're making. An opening that will be something you find in a new place that you're going to, or possibly just a new energy that you tune into because of the shift. But it does feel like it's kind of a result of this transition that you're making, because it doesn't just feel like a physical one. It feels like with the sacrifice involved and all of that and the cooperation that you're giving in a larger spiritual sense, and kind of being rewarded for it in a way. And it's not that I think that everything is based on that, like doing for others and receiving rewards, or and definitely not about receiving punishment, but in some cases, we do see things come through in that way, and that's what this feels like in this particular instance. I also feel that some of you may be leaving a relationship, so this would definitely be a different group. It also feels, though, that you've been digging in your heels a little bit, if this applies to you. And this absolutely, in a similar sense, feels like it's a positive move. So what I'm getting from that, though, is that the sacrifice involved in this case, if you are actually in the process of leaving a relationship, feels like it feels more like giving up of a sense of security, or if it's not necessarily financial security or emotional, that there were some things that really worked in your favor about being in the relationship, and there's some things that you're going to have to give up. So it may be financial. In terms of the emotions, you're happy giving that part up. You're done emotionally, and that's why I feel like the Eight of Cups is coming in. But there's some other aspect of it that you're not so comfortable giving up, and that it feels like a sacrifice, and it's why you've been digging in your heels. And that's completely understandable, whether it's a 3D material thing, or even if it's to do with a sense of security in a mental sense. Or I'm actually picking up on some other type of thing, like it could be that due to leaving the relationship, you're actually having to relocate or change a setup of something, whether it be scheduling stuff or where you actually work or something like that, that does not feel comfortable for you. And so that's why it feels like a sacrifice. But with the World coming in, it also feels like there's a massive opening for you for doing this. Especially if it has to do with work or location, it feels like that is absolutely happening for a reason. So while you may be digging in your heels on one level, it's happening, and it's something that is fated in a way, because it almost feels like a predestined thing in a sense. It may be something that so I believe that we do plan things before we come here, certain things, and this feels like one of them. So even though it's sort of like, well, you don't remember, so that may be why you're digging in your heels, and right now you're focused on what you might be losing, or leaving behind, but you're actually facing a really massive opening with this World card, and something that beautiful that's going to come to fruition. And I'm actually getting for some of you that it's a partnership. I'm seeing these two hands here, that it may not just be in relation to work or location or some other aspect of life that comes in for you, but a partnership. And it could be both also. It could be a partnership and some other things. But I'm definitely feeling that, and this may be something that takes some time. It may even take up to a year. And sometimes the World card signifies that amount of time passing. But it does feel like a really strong partnership, something that you wouldn't have even imagined for yourself. Like you couldn't have dreamed up this person, and that's not to say that they're perfect or anything like that, but you wouldn't have imagined yourself with this kind of person. And but it's a really special connection. So in regard to those of you who are single, I feel too that there may be some sort of partnership coming up, but it feels a little bit more delayed in that sense. It also feels like to attain that, you have to reach a new level in terms of some expectations and some emotions. It doesn't feel like emotional baggage or something that you have to work through that's been traumatizing or anything. Like, I'm not seeing the Five of Cups or anything, but it does feel like there is something that you have spent time building up, and you don't want to let it go. And I don't even know that it's fully conscious, so this could be on another level, or it could be conscious. I'm not getting any specific messages on what it could relate to, but it could have to do with work. So sometimes while we feel like we're making space for a relationship to come in, we actually, on another level, are focusing our attention on work more than we realize, or making space for work as a priority more than we realize. So it does feel mostly like work in terms of literally what you're doing as your career. But it could also be some sort of emotional work or discovering of passions. If it's emotional work, it feels a little bit like discovering who you are, learning more about who you are, and enjoying being with who you are. That some passions may have run out, and you're kind of needing some more time to rediscover what those are before you can have this partnership that you may be seeking. And in this sense, with the singles, I'm feeling the sacrifice coming in as kind of like even more of that this person might not be who you expected type of energy. So it feels like the sacrifice to be made could very well be with in terms of opening yourself up to a different type of person than you normally would. And the Hanged Man is also about seeing things from a new perspective. So it could be someone you already know who you never thought of that way, and you're being asked to look at this partnership in a different way and look at it with carrying the possibility of being a romantic partnership. So that's another message that I'm getting for singles. But it does feel like with anything that you need to work through that it is progressing forward and that it's kind of inevitable that you will do it. It just doesn't feel like a sudden change is coming right now. So, okay, thank you so much, Virgos. I will leave it at that. Again, if you'd like a private reading, please email me at soulsintersect@gmail.com. And feel free to also send any questions or post them in the comments section. Thank you.